Everyone. On behalf of Faculty of Commerce and Business Management, Dr. B.R. University, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the panel discussion on business transformation for sustainable development. To begin this session, I would like to invite Professor Anand Pawar, Dean Faculty of Commerce and Business Management and Conference Director, to kindly come onto the dais and occupy the chair. I request Professor Rabindranath Salman, Head Department of Commerce and Conference Co-Director, who will be also moderate the panel discussion, kindly come onto the dais and occupy the chair. Now I would like to invite our distinguished panel speakers. I invite Professor Anirban Ghosh, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Open University, Kolkata. Please come onto the dais and occupy the chair. Now I request Professor Kiranmay Madam, felicitate Felicitate Anirban Ghosh sir. Sir is working currently serves as the Director Center for Internet Quality Assurance with 21 years of experience. He specializes in taxation, finance, and open distance learning. He is an active NACPT member, has led several international conferences, and also holds a UK patent for an AI-powered ODL analytical device. He is also a recipient of Exemplary Contribution Award 2023. I welcome Mr. Prashant Kumar, retail consultant by International, who joined online. He is responsible for establishing, I think he is there in online. He is responsible for establishing, managing the company's operations in Hyderabad from the ground up. With a rich experience in consumer durable and industry, he worked with the leading organizations such as Xerox, Godrej Group, and LG Electronics at the national level. Now I invite Mr. David Raj Manne. Please come onto the dais. I request Professor Vadanam Sinwas sir to felicitate the sir. David Raj Manne, he specializes in digital transformation, predictive analytics, and next generation healthcare operations, and is widely recognized for his work in AI-driven patent safety and sustainable healthcare operations. Now I invite Professor P. Sindhu Madam, Director, Principal, University College of Management at Jawaharlal Nehru University. I invite Professor Pallavi Madam to kindly felicitate the Sindhu Ma'am. Sindhu Ma'am with 27 years of experience in teaching and research. She specializes in finance, investment management, and corporate governance. She has published more than 100 research papers and is a recipient of Women in Education Award at the Devang Mehta National Education Awards. Now I invite Professor K.V. Rao, former Vice Chancellor of Acharya Nagarjuna University. I request Dr. Venu sir to felicitate the KV sir. KV sir with more than 40 years of academic experience and research in commerce and management. He is a distinguished scholar and recipient of several prestigious academic awards. Welcome to you, sir. Finally, I invite Dr. Kishore Nutalapati, economist and corporate finance professional. I request Dr. Srinivas, Faculty of Commerce, to felicitate the Kishore Kumar sir. Dr. Kishore Kumar, with a corporate finance professional, currently serving as a CFO and a director at Beckham Infra Project Private Limited. With over 25 years of experience, he is widely recognized for his contributions to corporate finance, startup mentoring, and climate financing initiative. I would also invite Professor Ravi Kumar Tati, Principal, Kim School of Healthcare Management, who is serving as a rapporteur for this panel discussion. Now I request Professor Anand Pawar sir to share his insights on this panel discussion. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, all of you. welcome all that rather for inviting all of us. My friends, from left, Dr. Ravi Kumar from IMS Institute of Management. Prashant, Professor K.V. Rao garu, Subhash, Kolkata, and David Manne garu from healthcare industry, Director, School of Management Studies, Hyderabad, and my friend Dr. Professor Rabindranath Salomon, Department of Commerce, Director, today conference, and my dear colleagues, friends, Kishore, Kishorji, thank you and welcome and thank you, and my dear business scholars, friends, and participants, all of you. Thank you for guiding us for inaugural session, and now we are commencing on critical panel discussion today. So, as you are all aware that we have given some insights today morning, and the very eminent speakers like Professor V. Balakrishna Reddy, State Council of Hyderabad, and Mr. Dev Ranjan IAS, Telangana, Hyderabad, and our Honorable Vice Chancellor also spoke about this. The theme, and you are all aware that what happened recently, right? Now today we are going to discuss about what sustainable development is no longer optional in the morning, but it has become central feature of business. So, friends, why business transformation has become essential in the global environment? Sustainability is influencing business decisions today. Shift from profit-centric business models to purpose-driven business models. Why it is important? Balancing economic growth, protection, and social responsibility. Digital transformation, achieving sustainability, consumer preferences for ethical, transparent, and eco-friendly brands, and the importance of ESG, particularly green finance, responsible investment. So we all know the future direction, how institutions of this kind should prepare our sustainable transformation the development goals of the country. So it is in this context we have planned this panel discussion to have in-depth discussion. Is all 6 themes as decided by the organizing committee of this 2-day conference. You are all aware that business transformation is one theme, and fintech and sustainable finance is second, marketing, retailing, and sustainable operations. And fourth, healthcare, sustainable healthcare, and other business models and entrepreneurship. It is in this context we have invited very eminent speakers and research scholars, the area of their respective domain. Professor Sindhu, you are all aware, Dean Director of School of Management Studies. She is going to talk about how sustainable intake and sustainable development is taking place. What is the sustainable developmental goals of the country through business or in the context of business? And there are 3 eminent leaders from industry, because this is a blend of industry academia. So 3 are from industry and 3 are from academics. So we thought of giving what academic insights as well as industry insights to understand the concept of all these 6 themes which are included in the conference. So now with this opening remarks of mine, now I request all of you participate in the discussion by interacting with the resource persons here, so that we can explore the possibilities of learning much more, which is unknown till now. So with this, I now request my colleague, Professor Rabindranath Salomon, moderate by inviting the speakers to talk, and we'll also take up the questions from the audience, so that the discussion can be made
more fruitful and practical. Thank you so much, and over to Professor Ravindranath Saloban, my colleague in the department. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kumar. Am I audible in the labs? Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. I warmly welcome each one of you to this panel discussion. The panel discussion today centers around the 6 themes of the national conference that we have identified. And I hope each of you have presented or written papers under each of the themes that we have identified. These themes have been very thoughtfully laid out and are very relevant in today's contemporary global world. And we are very fortunate to have an excellent panel with us today. Each of the panelists is an authority in their own domains, and I'm sure that they will give us inputs that we all can carry home and implement in our own environments for sustainability. So let us begin the panel discussion. Now the format would be like this, that I am going to initiate the discussion and by asking certain relevant pertinent issues under each of the themes that have been identified. We will to follow all this theme wise. The first theme, I'm going to ask Professor Anirban, and I expect you to please, sir, we have another mic for you. You can respond from there only. So to begin the discussion, I'd like to ask Professor Anirban Ghosh, how, how can digital transformation directly contribute to sustainable goals in any organization? We can take any specific organization or a general organizational context. So how does this digital transformation directly contribute to this sustainability? Professor Anirban.
Both the industry and academia. And my dear scholars and students, other colleagues from the Department of Commerce and Business Management of this university and other faculty members. I would like to convey my sincere thanks to the organizing committee and vice chancellor for giving me with this timely national seminar, which will deal with the sustainability. And our keynote speaker has rightly pointed out the importance of the sustainability in present day context. The question is how the digital transformation will ensure the sustainability. By its name of the conference, we are very much concerned with the sustainability, whether it is a professional relationship or personal relationship. And whenever we talk about the business organization, it is very much important to sustain the environment. Environment means where the business operates, and it has to comply with the regulatory bodies and also the societal needs. So in this context, I may mention 3 aspects. One is the industrial revolution, second one is the technological development, and the sustainability. If you see the industrial revolution, we are in the stage of 4.0, and it was started in 18th century when the handicraft sector was converted into the next revolution, that is we call it industry 1.0. So from handicraft to mechanization, go back to the 18th century. Then it was transformed to electrification and mass production. That is the industry 2.0. Industry 3.0 deals with the automation and digital revolution. And now we are staying in the industry 4.0, that is smart and intelligent system. So over the period, there is a transformation. And any change, any transformation may hamper the environment, may disturb the existing system of the societal concept, societal composition. But development is inevitable for our existence, for the human civilization. But for what cost? not at the cost of the human civilization, not at the cost of the environment. So we have to check, or we have to see how the business will progress or how the industry will evolve in the digital era. That is the most concern area. Now come to the sustainability. Being the student of commerce and management or as a general public, we know what is sustainability. Sustainability is a development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the future generation to utilize the natural resources. This is a sustainability. But over the period, this concept has been transformed to another concept, like the environment protection, social inclusion, and the economic viability. So these are the major aspects that will be an important aspect for any business organization. And what are the sustainability challenges? Since morning, we are hearing from different speakers that sustainability challenges include the climate change, the natural resource depletion. These are the major concerns. So we have to be very careful, very cautious to utilize the existing environment for survival of the human being as well as for the progress of the industry. Now come to the technological development. During the COVID, we have witnessed and we have experienced how technology can help us for survival. We have used the technology, how to work from home, how to study, how to shop. So everything is being done through technology. So the technological innovations are very important in today's context. Now, the question is, how do we utilize or how do we integrate these technological innovations in the industrial process? Because our concern is the survival for the next generation or future generation. We are not consuming the entire things which are available abundantly for the present day only. We have to think for the future also. So how these technologies are reshaping the industry? This is the question. And I can mention here some of the technological innovations which are being utilized or adopting by the industries, like artificial intelligence. It is everywhere, it is being used, the term. Robotics, Internet of Things, blockchain, digital twin, big data analytics. So all these innovations are reshaping how business organizations operate and also enabling the industries to operate more efficiently and reduce the environmental pressure or environmental impact. So these are the major innovations. Now, if we consider the ESG, everyone is concerned with the ESG. ESG means environment, social, and governance. So how these technological innovations are being integrated to ensure from industrial point of view, the impact of the operations of the industry. We can measure this has been made mandatory now for the top 1,000 companies. There are regulated bodies, like the Companies Act, the SEBI. So this has been made mandatory to prepare the BRSR, Business Regulatory and Sustainability Report. This complements the financial report. Being the member of the commerce fraternity, we know what are the financial reports. If you go to any company, any big company in the website, you can find the annual report. And these are the important part, the BRSR, it has been made mandatory. So BRSR complements the financial reports. Financial report gives us the financial position of the business, the profit earned by the business for a particular period. And during that period, to earn that profit, how much it impacts on the environment, BRSR will give us, whether it is environmental, whether it is social, or it is a governance. So all these aspects are covered through BRS. And if you consider the environmental aspect, there are energy efficiency, emission reduction, waste minimization, and circular economy that was talking about. Social worker safety, welfare, skill development, improved working condition, customer satisfaction, and in governance aspect, you can find the transparency, real-time reporting, compliance, and ethical supply chain. So all these are very important issue nowadays, because through technology, if we use the technology judiciously and optimally, we can reach the mass with accuracy and transparency. This is the major objective of the technological transformation of business operations. So this is all about, and I have already told the technological innovations like IoT, AI, and big data. So all can be integrated in the business process to ensure the ESG, environment, social, and governance. That's my response.
Thank you so much, Professor Arvind Ghosh, for that very candid explanation of how digital transformation has affected sustainability, or rather helped sustainability, from handicrafts to mechanization, from mechanization to electrification, from electrification to again automation, from automation to artificial intelligence systems. So, sir has taken us through the journey of how we have evolved, how we have transformed. And at each stage of transformation, there were challenges, and those challenges also were overcome. So a specific request to all the participants is that uh, we will keep the questions for the last. In case you get any kind of queries or doubts in your minds, please write them down somewhere. And later on, we will throw the floor open for discussion. Then we can ask the questions depending upon the time. So that was on the first theme of the conference, on which Professor Arvind Ghosh has given us his inputs. Now we will go to the second theme. The second theme is on sustainable retailing, supply chain and operations. And for this, Mr. Prashant Kumar Das is joining us online. Mr. Prashant, are you there online with us?
Yeah, namaste. Good afternoon. Yes, I
Hello.
can hear you loud and clear.
Mr. Prashant, are you there online? Yeah. Mr. Prashant, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mr. Prashant, if you can hear us, I don't think we all can hear you. So we'll just, we will come back
Can you
to
hear me
you
now?
in some time, Mr. Prashant, because there seems to be some technical issue with the audio.
Okay. I can hear you.
Yeah. So, Mr. Prashant, welcome to this panel discussion. Thank you very much for joining us. So, the theme on which you are going to interact with us is on digital marketing, sustainable retailing, supply chain, and operations. So, to initiate the discussion with you, Mr. Prashant, now, see, digital marketing will encourage mass consumption, is the common perception. So, right, if digital marketing, it encourages mass consumption, does it also encourage a responsible consumption? Because mass consumption and responsible consumption do not go hand in hand. So for responsible consumption, sustainability is the answer, is the key. So do you think that digital marketing is aiding sustainability through this responsible consumption? Mr. Prashant.
First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm sorry that in the last minute I could not make it, so I am joining you online. I hope I am audible. My respected Sir Power Sir, Kiranmay Madam, Radhakrishna Garu, everybody, thanks very much. Before straight away going to the answer, because I'm an industry person, I'm a professional, and I would like to take this opportunity to the panel as well as the audience to talk a little bit about the retail industry context in India. What's happening in retail? there is a rapid growth of organized retail at the moment in India happening, and South India is leading that direction. Strong growth in e-commerce and omni-channel, which means a mix of e as well as offline and online retail is growing very fast. Rising customers' expectations for speed and service, that is making a big difference. You know, e-coms are becoming so aggressive nowadays because of that. Increasing importance of sustainability and efficiency. This is also important, but I think sustainability is a journey. We have to embark this journey and you have to achieve where we have to go, because as you see the geopolitical scenario of the world at the moment, and we are already getting the pinch of the scenario happening. I don't like to go detail into that, but sustainability is becoming a need of the hour and it will continue to be so. Also, it was exciting to hear one of our honorable speaker before this tea break, where I was listening about Telangana rising. There also sustainability playing a big important role. Yeah, so in retail, which is a very big industry, just to give a context, only Telangana, the consumer durable industry size is more than 33,000 crores per annum. 33,000 crores per annum. So, and it's growing at a decent rate. So obviously, this industry has to also contribute a lot in terms of sustainability. So as I said, retail industry context I just spoke. Now I'm coming to what is digital marketing. Promotion of a product through digital channels is nothing but a digital marketing, which everybody knows, which includes, but there is a common misconception that we believe that only the Facebooking and Instagramming and all are only the digital marketing, which is not so. It does include social media resource, but search engines, the email, the WhatsApps, the websites, etc., also play a very important role in digital marketing. It's a data-driven marketing approach, and it enables targeted communication with the customer. So you don't have to scatter it. You can pinpoint your target audience and you can aim whatever communication you want to give. So the key digital marketing channels also, let me just utter here. One is the social media marketing, as I said. Second is the search engine marketing. Third is the email and WhatsApp marketing. Then comes the influencer marketing. This is a sea change in advertisement as well. Nowadays, you will see that not always everybody can afford to hire a big celebrity talk about their products. So their customers become their brand ambassadors, and they slowly and eventually become their influencers, which influences the buying behavior of the customers. And also we have online marketplaces that also helps digital marketing. These are the different types of digital marketing platforms that anybody adopts nowadays. But the benefits of digital marketing is it's targeted to a customer reach. Measurable campaign performance, like how much I could achieve out of this campaign, I can measure it. Lower marketing cost compared to traditional media, and real-time customer engagement happens in digital marketing. Supports both in online as well as offline retail. So now I'm coming to that question that you have asked me, that how can digital marketing encourage responsible consumption? Yeah, digital marketing and responsible consumption actually goes hand in hand, because it promotes sustainable products like energy efficient refrigerators or washing machines, for that matter. Nowadays, whenever you go and buy an AC, you first check whether it is a 5-star or a 4-star rating or 3-star or not, because the customers are slowly becoming more and more conscious about the power consumption. So definitely digital marketing can promote a lot of sustainable products. Then it also educates the customer via the vlogs of the influencers, the videos and the social media. And then it provides transparency, energy rating, sourcing, where am I getting it from, the life cycle data. And it also uses AI-driven personalization to recommend sustainable choices to the customer. It enables repair and reuse, exchange and recycling programs. And lastly, it reduces paper waste compared to the traditional marketing. So this is the main crux of the story, that how digital marketing encourage responsible consumption is very, very clear. Today, the consciousness in the minds of the customer, as per the basic consciousness that has come now is basically for power consumption. Slowly, many other things are coming. Like, for example, for like a retailer like us, we have almost stopped handing over a paper printed invoice copy to the customers. I have a small example I'm giving. Now, we have started sharing the PDF format invoices to their WhatsApp. So this is how we are also trying to reduce the usage of paper, which is again in favor of the environmental benefits. But digital marketing definitely plays a very, very important role in influencing this kind of a purchase. Now, digital marketing influences how? The framework is like this: the responsible consumption, like buy a durable, efficient, and recyclable product. These thinkings are slowly coming into the minds of the customers. It is also informed decisions, like I compare the energy, I compare the sustainability before purchases. Sometimes consumer awareness, like content, reviews, influencers, comments, that also makes a lot of difference. And then digital platforms like social media, search engine optimizers, or e-commerce, all these things actually influences the buying behavior of the customer nowadays. So in a nutshell, digital marketing encourages responsible consumption by educating the customer, promoting sustainable products, providing transparency, and influencing behavior through digital engagement. When used effectively, it supports both business growth and environmental and sustainability. That's the thing I just wanted to say. Thank you so much. That I hope I could manage to answer the question as much as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shant, you have answered more than what we had already, what we had expected. Thank you so much for that. Continuing the discussion further from where Mr. Prashant has left. Now, he says that digital marketing definitely does encourage sustainability. So, to the third theme of the session, Mr. David Raju, specifically, I'm asking you, sir. Now, Mr. Prashant says that digital marketing does encourage sustainability. In the same way, if you apply this in the healthcare sector, nowadays we have got this telemedicine, where a patient need not come to the hospital to take an appointment with the doctor and then get the medicines prescribed. In the same way, he can do the same thing through the telephone or through other digital means. So, in the same way, in the healthcare sector also, how far or to what extent is technology aiding sustainability?
Thank you, everyone. I'm audible. It looks like the crowd is awake. I know that we are heading towards lunchtime, so we'll try to be as innovative as possible to answer your questions. So I'm very scared to participate with the academicians because they bring in a lot of data evidence and that sitting in front of my principal, so I passed out a long time back, but principal is a principal. So it brings us a bit of a chaotic environment, but let's try to see how we answer that. So I'll answer this in two ways so that you understand it better. For me, sustainability is a topic that we are speaking today, but it has been taught to us from our forefathers. So to be very precise, even our mother, if you're a family, because we are a family of 5 plus 2, 7. So whenever there is a food that is prepared, so mother always plans is that the last one should also have it. If he comes, if he doesn't come out. That is sustainable. So the next one who's going to come in the last also should be able to have a sumptuous and a full meal so that he doesn't fall sick, and then he should be able to be there for the tomorrow or the next session. That's how we had been thought about the sustainability. And then the next, to our current generation, the sustainability is, as Paya said, we order and we do a lot of waste. In our previous days, we never see food getting wasted. I don't know how our mothers were able to manage, but every time my wife has a complaint about me and my daughter, says that why are you guys wasting so much? If it's a food that is ordered, so
first thing is I'm very careful in ordering because I know that I'll definitely be bashed by my wife because I ordered the food extra. I say, no, if you eat more, no. Try to control how to eat yourself. Okay, that's one thing. And then the second thing is like connecting to the telemedicine that where we are. The second thing is again, after I got married, because we always love to stand in the shower. I think if this statement, if my wife hears is like, this guy is not a right guy to speak on sustainability. Because I used to hear a knock after 2 or 3 minutes. Why is the shower still on? I said, no, let me take a bath at peace. So for your next generation, there will not be any water. I said, what? What are you talking? No, we have our ocean is 70% is only water because our health is there. No. Your next generation is going to suffer. After 12 years, my daughter is 12 now. She gets the same knock on the door. Then I keep laughing. She's like, because the same answer that she keeps trying to instigate into her brain, telling that your next generation or your kids, she's just 12. But she makes sure that your next generation is not going to have water, so you better use it properly. Coming into the healthcare side also, the telemedicine is one of the very wonderful features that we have invented. Because when I started my career in Sri Lanka, we had implemented the telemedicine there for Apollo Sri Lanka. So why we have implemented Dr. PC Reddy is like, because there are a lot of patients that flew from Sri Lanka to Chennai just to get the secondary advisory services. Because, and it was a cost on them, it was a cost on airfare, and moreover, it was a cost on for them to go and then live there for that 5 or 6 days, but only for that consultation. So when we were implementing the telemedicine, we were thinking, what a visionary is this guy? Okay, and then we passed this, and it did not pick up so much well because we were all up to get a feel of a touch of a doctor and spend that time and do that. When I came back from US in 2017, because we were trying to develop a telemedicine, telehealth kind of a startup in India. And when we were trying to do that market research, they said that, no. In India, we get to see a doctor at 50 rupees at the street corner. It will not sell. I said, no, this is a very good model because in Hyderabad, particularly, we are getting a lot of community-based residences are coming. Aparna was one of the top at that point of time. We said, why don't we install a telemedicine kiosks in the apartment section so that it will start, it will be a very good model. And then particularly, our interest was more to take to the rural level, where the pregnant woman who will not be able to travel so far for just an advice of every, because many of you would have seen your mothers, many of you would have seen your sisters. Every time is attention. Because in nowadays family, because we don't have an advisor at home, everything is done by them. So a small pain in the tummy, they don't know what's happening to the baby inside. Because for her, everything is not bothered, only the baby inside the tummy is bad. We thought we will take the rural healthcare connected to the telemedicine. We started. And morning, as the professor said, that then we landed into the COVIDization. COVID hit, entire everything has shut down. Because I work for a US healthcare firm, because they also used to say that India cannot operate for IT work from home. In one night, we switched the entire nation onto the work from home model. The entire US got shocked. How can you guys do it? No. We are very, very we are very, very infrastructure advanced nation, but we won't post it. COVID has given us two opportunities. One thing is, it made world talk about how India is powerful in terms of infrastructure, technical infrastructure. Second thing is, healthcare has opened doors to everyone. So the teleconsultations has taken a blasting reach into the patients. because nobody was ready to come to the hospital, and hospital was in front of you in your mobile. Because when I wrote my first paper, rural healthcare through televisions, and then with the COVIDization, I started seeing that your doctor is sitting in front of you on your mobile. So telemedicine for the sustainable care is one of the wonderful ammunition that the current generation is having. It's going to be for the future generation also, where it's going to help everyone without walking into the hospital. How is this going to help you as sustainable, particularly for the life sciences industry who run clinical trials? Previously, we have to start a clinical trials for the research organizations. We have to make them fly and come into the our hospitals, get them treated, get them planned, get them do it on a regular basis. So the sustainability for telemedicine is helping them not to come into the hospitals. That's why we are able to save a lot of hotels, a lot of airfare. That's a carbon, these things are carbon footprint that we are able to reduce. That's the first thing. And second thing is like we are controlling the disease not to spread in the hospital, because hospitals are the best source of your infection. Okay, telemedicine helps there to control the disease spread. Third thing is we are telemedicine is helping not many people to come into the hospitals, particularly post-discharge patients. So that is one of the very good innovation that we are adopting, and then we are expanding. Even the government and insurance are supporting it. So it's going to help us to save a lot of carbon footprint for the entire nation, to the world as well. So it needs to be used very wisely. And the best thing is, doctor is at your tip of your finger. And then you can have a better dialogue when you are speaking with the doctor, because in the hospitals, doctor is not spending more than 5 minutes. But if it's a teleconsultation, it's up to 10 minutes. So we are at an advantage. So that's how I think that it's helping not only the telemedicine, the entire teleconsultation is helping the life sciences organizations to speed up, and then hospitals to have a very good care, reaching them without they coming and stepping into your hospitals there. So that's where we are helping make it a sustainable ecosystem for the entire nation.
Thank you very much, Dr. David, because Sir has explained something which probably all of us can relate to. Because he was talking about a mother who has got 7 children, and suppose that mother has prepared a special dish to be consumed by all these 7 children. If 2 of them are not at home, and the first brother comes and consumes a major part of that dessert what she has prepared, the second one comes and consumes whatever is remaining after the first has consumed, the third has consumed the remaining dish. The others have not got anything. How will the others feel? Will the first brother also be happy that he has consumed the entire thing? Will the second brother also be happy? And what about the frustration of the remaining who have not got anything? So that exactly sustainability. We have to consume, but consume responsibly. We have to consume responsibly and see to it that others also are left something behind. And they are to be left a substantial portion, a good portion, not just leftover. Okay, so do not keep anything as a leftover. Keep something for your future generations as something that you yourself have enjoyed. So very beautifully explained, Dr. David. Thank you so much for that very beautiful explanation. Now, Professor Sindhu, fintech and sustainable finance. Now, when we come to sustainable finance, now is it only the role of the organizations or the companies or the individuals or the consumers to harp on sustainability, or do the regulators also have a role? If the regulators, I am sure, will have a role, what kind of role are the regulators playing for sustainability?
So good afternoon. I know I'm very close to lunch, but I think first let me thank Professor Pawar, gave me this opportunity, and also Professor Solomon asked a wonderful question The reason is we are working on the research. Let me say, recently we have submitted on the balance scorecard. Then we said no, sustainability balance scorecard, which has come recently in 2022. Well, sir asked, let me start with the, macro, that is UN. UN has given sustainability development goals. 17 goals are there, which every nation has to take up at individual level as if possible. So then let me talk about the business. The moment I say business, finance comes into picture. As you know, US is more than $50 trillion business, followed by China, around $24 trillion business. So let me talk about our great country, Mera Bharat Mahan, which is close to $4 trillion. And just now our speakers talked about, we have to reach, third largest economy, a big challenge to achieve. Viksit Bharat or whatever the schemes of Rising Telangana we are talking about. Now, all the politicians also became very ambitious today. And whatever you say, whichever sector you say, be it oil and gas, where the entire geopolitical issue is going on, we are saying it's for resources. We start our finance class with a scarce resource. Everybody is fighting for the same scarce resource, be it oil and gas, be it healthcare, be it whatever, finance will come into picture. Finance is not easily available, same limited resources. How to be it individual, be it economy. I'm traveling from individual, family, community, state, central, or the entire world, the same scenario exists. If you don't need so many professionals here. That is a major constraint. And the technology plays a very vital role here. Tell me a person in this entire hall who is not touched by the technology. I hail from a university. Our university name itself is Technological University. It is touching everybody. And you won't believe every day we are trying to come out with the courses, with something where we can give it to somebody common man who doesn't know any technological experience, how to be touchable. Now, let me tell, yes, technology comes with a cost. Capital cost. How do we see that we reduce this and go for an achievement called sustainability finally? That is a big challenge at every level. So I think a lot of youngsters I see here, students, apart from the faculty members and the senior people, MCs here, and you have a more responsible role to play. We discuss, but you are the people going to be workforce. Now, let me talk about certain developments like AI, just touching our lives every day. Now, more specifically, when I talk about fintech, where blockchain, I think Mr. David Raju can talk about blockchain, which is used in healthcare, supply chains, very, very, this thing, which is, reducing the cost. And we're seeing the supply chain is a big issue today worldwide. And blockchain is used. See, we have seen barter system. We are in the era of, Bitcoins or Digicoins, what the banks are going to introduce, so that the cost can be reduced over a period of time. So technology, especially financial sector, we say world's largest market is financial. Touch anything, finally you end up in finance. So how do we gear up to sustainability? The technology is the answer, but how do we also protect our ecology and environment is next very important. How are we gearing up? It's not just you, each one of us sitting here, wherever, has a contribution towards the sustainability. So sir asked me a specific question called regulatory. Yes, there are compliances. There are from UN, from our own, let's say, central banks, ministries are talking, promoting, but how do we take it forward? How do we see that everyday life, small issues, just sir was sharing, I was really happy to know somebody is so conscious at home. Okay, see, not to waste food, not to waste water, not to waste electricity is a great gesture, and we should appreciate the concern for the coming generations. Not just our generation, but the concern for the coming generation is very important. In fact, I was looking for one of the programs at the United Kingdom Ethics University. They say in India, we waste food equivalent to, what we can serve to entire Bihar, entire year. So just imagine. So I think from there we should start every day Yes, if we are finding it excess, there are somebody who's do not have that meal that day or meal in the entire day. So we have to be really conscious. And the youngsters, I have a very important thing. You know, as I said, in business, finance is the lifeblood, and finance is required, and finance is inevitable. So, what are the skills we have to upgrade ourselves so that we can perform where the costs can be reduced and the profit margins or the margins, that is what business look for, should be enhanced, is what we have to really ponder on and see that equip the skills what is required so that we can do. Because accounting is going to change, finance is going to say change. Okay, and how are we gearing up to that is very, very important. So regulatory bodies play their role. They're coming out with compliances, disclosure to be given, accounting reports to be given. But how many are coming forward, let's say voluntarily and doing this? There are companies which are doing it. Like some of the companies, I think Professor Sudarshan Kudlu was talking about Infosys, there are some Tata companies. In fact, when we were doing research, we were finding they are coming out. So we have to see that our companies also, every company gears up to this. It's not just the regulatory body's role, but we have to, as an individual, as one of the stakeholders in this ecology, we have an important role to play. So I think, thank you for this opportunity. I thank Professor Pawar and Professor Solomon for this opportunity. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Professor Sindhu. Professor K.V. Rao, sir, ma'am, Sindhu ma'am was saying that, sustainability is everybody. Everybody has a role to play in sustainability. The moment you say everybody, there is diversity, because not each one of us are not the same, definitely not the same. So when there is so much of diversity included, how do you practice diversity how do you practice inclusivity in the midst of this diversity to attain sustainability? So how do you address diversity and inclusivity in practicing sustainability?
So thank you very much, Salmanji. So the president of this panel discussion and incidentally the director of the conference, Professor Anand Pawarji, and Professor Kiranmayi, at whose instance I happen to be here, and my co-panelists, and all the senior faculty participants, and also the young student friends. It really gives me immense pleasure to be one among you at this hour. And Madam and many of the co-panelists are also conscious of the time, and I also do not wish to stand in between you and the lunch, maybe sumptuous that the organizers might have arranged for you. But I would be trying to be very precise and take the first opportunity, congratulate the department, particularly Pawar, Kiranmai, and all the faculty, Salman, and all the senior faculty, and the research scholars. They were very enthusiastic while they were discussing with me as to the very topic and 6 themes that they have identified in relating to the sustainable development. As a matter of fact, as Salmanji has been telling, that the very concept of sustainability is diverse, all pervasive, and inclusive. I consider that the whole topic itself, when we look at the development goals as such, I think it has transformed from MDGs to SDGs. I think if some of you can remember that in 2000 back itself, so the United Nations has thought of conceiving the idea of developing and formulating these Millennium Development Goals, and they expected that they would be realized in 2015. So 2015 has gone by, and then these SDGs have come, in my opinion, as an offshoot of this. And then from 2015, another decade and a half they have thought, and then 2030 they would be realized. I think we are now in 2026. I think a roadmap, I think, is required to be still
formulated or imagined, and we should see that. I think maybe our Honorable Prime Minister is right when he says 2047 could be an ideal target that we hope to achieve. But coming to the question that has been posed to me, that how pervasive it is, and all the 17, if we take into consideration that the gamut of the issues that are incorporated in the achievement or realization of the sustainable development goals is so vast. And in fact, it covers right from the poverty, hunger, and then clean atmosphere, clean air. I think some day may come where we may have to carry on our back on the clean air. I think the cylinders are kind of a thing. I think technology would help in such a way that we become really live in certain of the times. Already, I think when I read the news related to the Delhi and even the place where I stay at Bangalore, I think so. In addition to the congestion and the traffic issues, but the clean atmosphere also has been becoming one of the such issues. So that way, if we go, I think it permits all the dimensions, and I believe that it has been quite pervasive. In this context, I think I am tempted to bring to the notice of the student friends here. There has been the idea. In fact, now we have been discussing so much, but if we go into the fundamentals of the or principles of economics, I think it is way back in 1932 that Lionel Robbins has really identified what is economics in our opinion, or what they have said, or the real concept of the economics. It says that allocation, judicious allocation of the scarce resources among the competing users. What all we are trying to do by virtue of the knowledge that is available to us in terms of the technology, in terms of the digitization, we are only attempting to optimize the utilization of the resources for the benefit of the current generation and also the future generation. That is what I believe is the very concept of sustainable development is. So in this context, I think when we say there are four, in my opinion, areas where we can make the concept very inclusive. One thing is our focus relating to the education, and the second is health, and third is skill enhancement or skill development, and the fourth is social inclusion. In fact, in all these areas, I think there has been a lot that is required to be achieved in order to see that these sustainable development goals. I think maybe, as I have already informed you, the timeline is required to be revised. So it may not be achieved by 2030. Maybe I think we need to revise this timeline for 2047. Maybe I think all the nations, as we can see, I think the global warming and all those things, I think it has been said 1.55 centigrade has increased from the pre-industrial levels. And in all the other development goals, particularly sustainable development goals, we can see there has been a lot of concern that has been expressed, and particularly to enable our human resources. So, particularly focusing on the sustainable human capital and the leadership, that is the theme 5 in this panel discussion. I think education, where the allocations are required to come to the level where I think in 1964 itself, 64 to 67, where Kothari Commission has suggested that we have not achieved, and it is only now at about 4.6%, that is the allocation. And even though the present budget also has made some allocation, much of it has been going towards school education rightly, and also, but the allotments or allocations are very less, and that needed to be strengthened in that area. And also, I think the health sector, I think our Dr. G has been talking very much about the telemedicine. So I think some technology, I think interventions have been happening, and but still, if we can take the indices that which reflect the status of the healthcare and then the human development, I think we are all aware that HDI, India ranks very low at the HDI out of the countries that are surveyed, always hovering around 126 to 130. So that is all our status, and it needed to be. And in fact, many other indices like IMR, MMR, or what are these basic indices that which are considered reflecting the status of the human capital. I think that is where we need to go about. And also the skill enhancement, third area which I have been trying to bring to your notice. So I think there has been a lot of focus, but unfortunately, I think so coordination and the collaboration with the agencies concerned, I think here during the inaugural also there has been much focus on the skill enhancement. I think BROU also, Ambedkar Open University also trying to introduce some skill orientation courses, skill development courses. I think there has already been some attempt that is going on at the state level and also at the national level at the base of the national NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation, and it has imagined the constitution of skill sector councils. I think my suggestion to the university is that I think they can align with say almost about 25 to 26 such skill sector councils are there. I think one we have, I think I am associated with one of the same like BFSI, so banking, finance, financial services, and insurance. So that has been one skill sector council like that almost for many of these areas there have been. I think that collaboration may, I think, prove useful to the institutions like the university where to design the courses that which are going to be relevant for the students in terms of so skilling them or reskilling them or upskilling them in any context that we speak about the skill development. And the fourth one is about the social inclusion. So Salmanji has been talking about and then asking me to how we can. I think the social inclusion, the very name of the Dr. Ambedkar. So Vice Chancellor also has tried to remind himself and also remind all of us related to the contribution. I think greatly, in addition to the constitution, I think those that really go into the profile of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, they realize that he had been a great economist. I think his two PhDs, if we see, I think the problem of rupee that is going to be more contextual in the present day context than the dollar. I was seeing, I observed right from about it is 60, 65. Now I think 92, I think it may touch very soon if the problem persists between this war is going to intensify, may I think again may go up to even 100. I think that day I believe is not going to be very far off. So maybe I think all those so fit into the occasion and also true to the name of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, I think we may revisit the very concept what he has said about the problem of the rupee and really are those problems really are persisting and in the present day context and whether he could be of again a light or whether he could be any of help in trying to find out some of this. So in that context, I think that we can go ahead with the issue of social inclusion. In this context, I think I have one suggestion relating to the adoption of the UN model wherein there has been a measure relating to the social cost benefit analysis. I think we can adopt again, revise the same. And also, I think it has been the Tata group of institutions, industry friends, I think, can recollect that was the first group that which has started conducting a social audit, being very responsible, and they themselves volunteered as to their responsibility. That means what is the social responsibility or what about this social inclusion and exclusion, that how it is implemented, that they have tried this kind of a model. I think nowadays, I think so our Ghosh ji has been telling about the social responsibility report that the directors of the companies have been required to present. But I think they are, in my opinion, having gone through many of the such reports, they are more in a way routine and then being technical. But to what extent, I think if we can, as a researcher and students can develop any something like a scorecard, I think that is going to be very much useful. So all those reports are going to be in detail and they only say talk about to what extent that the 2.5% of the profits which they have allocated for the purpose of CSR are going to be utilized. That is one aspect. But beyond that, if one can go I think, develop a scorecard which would be interesting to the research scholars and the young student friends. I think that could be one dimension where the utility of this conference is going to be enhanced. So that is how I think the social inclusion can be taken care of.
Thank you so much, Professor K.V. Rao, for that very elaborate explanation on a very short question about inclusivity and diversity. Thank you so much. Finally, we have got an industrialist on the panel, and whenever we talk about industry, we talk about the business models. So, Dr. Kishore, now what makes a business model truly sustainable? Can you just explain a business model and how does it address sustainability?
Professor Pawar sir, Professor Kirmay madam, Professor Salman sir, respected Vinara sir, and other learned professors on the dais of the dais. What business is sustainable? How business can be sustainable? In the short term, the business is sustainable only if it has profits. In the medium term, a business is sustainable if the ecosystem is dependent on it. In the long term, business is sustainable if it can give back to the ecosystem from where it derived its existence, profitability, and sustenance. So in the short term, if we try to jump towards the sustainable practices, it may not be so easy. Should it be done? Yes. Can it be done? It depends on the ability of the entrepreneur, how the business is set up, and what practices do they adopt, and more importantly, how is the regulatory system and the ecosystem? Ecosystem includes all of us as consumers. How do we support that kind of enterprise? If you find a restaurant opposite our university selling 2 chutney, 2 piece idli a plate at 60 rupees versus another restaurant comparable in all aspects except for some sustainable practices selling the same 1 plate idli at 40 rupees. Are we prepared to take the 60 rupees worth plate idli and be happy about having contributed to the sustainable practices in the industry? That is our responsibility. If we can differentiate, understand, and remunerate that kind of sustainable practice adopted by the business. Unless there is a taker, customer, who is willing to pay for the sustainable practice, an entrepreneur, a business, cannot adopt sustainable practices just for the sake of adopting a sustainable practice. And on the other side, where does this regulator come and play a role? Unless regulatory requirement exists, we are not tuned to adopt any sustainable practice, to pay for a sustainable practice. So the power consumption, power bill becoming a concern made people to look at alternative options. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency and the green building concept, where you get some incentives, is making the builders or the developers to adopt the green practices. If only each of the unit holder can accommodate the required green within the building, you don't need a common park, you don't need the open green spaces, and you don't need to spend a lot on maintaining all of them, which could be used once in a while. But because we don't adopt these practices at our end, at neutral end, it becomes social responsibility, and a regulatory requirement or regulatory imposition only can drive those practices. Now, business to be sustainable should start with sustainable practices. And again, as sustainability is repeatedly defined by my senior speakers here and young speakers here, there is only one definition which was given. Many experts try to tweak the definition, but they failed. The definition remained the same. The definition is meeting current generation requirements with the resources without compromising the requirements of the future generation. That is a sustainable practice. So the cumulative explanation of all the respected speakers is that We should utilize resources to the requirement of our generation without compromising the resources availability or existence for the future generations requirement. Can a business do that? Yes. Have to support that. Bank, government, and ecosystem. Ecosystem includes all of us. Now, can a business start with a sustainable practice and sell 60 rupees supply idli? No. Did Infosys, did Tata, or did Reliance, did Adani exist with minimum wage payment and all those things? And only 8-hour workshop, 8-hour work shift? May or may not be. But if there is support from the regulatory system, support from the ecosystem, including consumers, yes, they can adopt. So business can be sustainable, can start with the sustainable practices. To summarize with the three, number one, it has to have profit in the short term, failing which it cannot exist at all. Second step, in the medium term, it should make the ecosystem depend on it. That is possible when you network into the ecosystem, serve what is required for the society, for your stakeholders, take what resources do they give to you. And third, when you give back, like how sir has mentioned, in terms of CSR, in terms of ESG, in terms of compliance, standing as a role model organization for the world, and then you inspire the entrepreneurs to come up with the same similar sustainable practices. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kishore. Now, I think all of you are now ready to interact with the panelists, but a small request from the organizers is that lunch is ready for you all. If you are not very hungry, we will take 2 questions. If you are hungry, we will take 1 question. So is it 1 or 2, you decide, and then you tell. So the first question. So you have a question, sir? Like,
hello. It was a wonderful panel discussion, I should really point out. The question may come across as provocative, but believe me, it is not. So I read in front of, the topic is business transformation for sustainable development. For some reason, when it, academically, commercially, environmentally, it's a beautiful, topic. But for some reason, the first 2 words and the last 2 words, to some of us, comes across at its best as an oxymoron. Because some of us, we see it as they occupying the opposite end of the spectrum. Like you rightly said, can we have a business? Because business, sometimes the business aspect is profit at any cost. Because the competitor is after you, there's very little one can do, and so on. Whereas the sustainable development is the other end of the spectrum. So how does one, as academicians, experts, academia, research scholars, kind of integrate the whole thing practically? One thing is all of us here sitting here and offering our expertise, which is extremely premium, but how does one really reconcile it into practically? Is there a solution, or is it a kind of wish list dream that we can only discuss in boardrooms or academia meetings? Thank you. I hope I didn't provoke anything.
Change. Climate change, cause which is championed by all the countries, and they have committed for the contributions from each of the country. They include broadly 3 things. 1, mitigation measures, mitigation projects measures. 2, adaptation projects measures. 3, loss of damage. So mitigation is you construct a new building. When you construct a new building, you know that the water is already seeping, therefore you raise the foundation. the flood, whatever comes from the drainage will not trouble you. Adaptation is how do you divert that flood, whatever is happening, and therefore you will not have the trouble from the water what is coming. First case, a new project. Second case, existing project, slight modifications or making some modifications, amendments, etc., or diverting the stream to the extent possible. Third is water has to flow this way only. You can't let it divert, in which case you are causing more problem to others who are adjoining. So therefore you let it go. And the loss what is caused or met by the concerned unit holder, economic holder will be compensated. That is loss of damage. For these three, for all the developed countries, 1.3 trillion is estimated as a requirement per annum until 2030, of which approximately 290 billion to 300 billion is as of now met by the developed economies. And the balance appears to have been estimated as the commitment or the capital that could flow from multiple private parties into these three projects. But as a private party, if you ask me, Dr. Kishore, what is your preference? I would look at mitigation project only because it is that project which will give me profitability, which will allow me to sustain. I have to remain solvent to serve you tomorrow. You will not appreciate if I die today by being ideal, noble, and put all the best practices. So as he rightly mentioned, it has to be transformed over a period of time. And such kind of deliberations and more in number and powerful regulation from the government only can make level playing field can be set by the regulator or the god. Discipline, culture, compliance can come only when regulator, either the nature regulator, the god, or the government, the other regulator on the earth. Only when these two can do anything, there will be a level playing field. Then the transformation will happen.
Actually, in fact, sir, when we were actually discussing about this conference, exactly this is what we thought. Because some of us said that they are oxymorons. They are diagonally placed opposite each other is what some of us felt. And then some of us felt that no, they are not, because you seek transformation of a business for sustainability. So in that sense, they are not oxymorons. So what we finally thought was that we will leave it to the outcome of the conference. We will see at the end of the day, does the conference say that these are oxymorons or does it say that these are not? So it all depends on the outcome of the conferences. So that's the reason why we left it to the conference. And here at this point in time, I have a special announcement to make that we have. Yeah. Professor Mary, before you ask a question, just a small announcement, very small. We have got best research paper awards that are constituted by Professor Kiranmai and also by the faculty. So, yeah, in case your paper turns out to be the best paper in that particular technical session, you are given a certification, you are given a cash prize. The cash prize is sponsored by Professor Kiranmai, who is from the Faculty of Commerce and Business Management. So give your best so that you come out to be the best and also take some cash home. Yeah, Professor Mary, please.
Thank you all. I really enjoyed listening to your lecture, sir. Thank you for your discussions. Then, from Prashant sir, I think, what is digital engagement and how do you help a customer in recycling the products? Thank you.
I think the question is to me.
Dr. Prashant, that was for you.
Yeah. I can. Can you all hear me? Am I audible?
Sure. Even I got confused. Dr. Prashant, are you still online with us?
Yeah, I'm there. I can hear you.
Yeah.
I heard the question.
She had a very pointed question and she wants only you to answer. So will you please answer that question for us, sir? Or do you want me to repeat the question for you?
I would appreciate if you repeat once. I heard it, but little more clear.
Yeah, so Professor Mary was specifically saying, what were you saying, Professor Mary? She just wants to know what is digital engagement, sir.
Or e-waste? Did she ask about e-waste or digital engagement?
Recycling and about e-waste and what is digital engagement.
Okay, I'll first talk about the digital engagement. If you are talking from the customer's engagement point of view, again, that same story of digital marketing comes in it. Nowadays, there are a lot of activities are being done on the retail platform to create more and more digital engagement. Like, for example, I'm taking a product called microwave oven, which is a quite common product in most of our household. Wherein previously we used to invite the customers, come over to the store, and then we used to run some crockery shows, sometimes use some celebrities also. And that is how it used to happen. But the situation has evolved a lot nowadays, and now it is all thanks to, even I should thank that, thank the technology. That's because because of that only it is possible that now the lady sitting at the comfort of their home, they can they can attend a lot of classes, which improves their cooking quality. So the family is happy. And also in many cases, we give these customers a lot of inputs, a lot of tips, suggestions that how do you manage to keep your home also to a great extent environment friendly or maybe sustainable by virtue of using taking few small steps. For example, again, we come to the star ratings of the products. Nowadays, as you can see, every year star rating changes. Even, for example, what was sold in 2025 as far as air conditioners are concerned, that 5-star has now become 4-star. That is how the government regulatory boards are strictly monitoring the star rating, because power saving makes a lot of difference. So yes, digital engagement is a regular phenomena, and we do a lot. And every retailers in any business sphere or any vertical will be definitely doing it as per their requirements, as per their scope of discussions or opportunities. Coming to the e-waste, very good question, because I was expecting somebody to raise this topic actually. For example, if I take a television, it is basically a product. When I am exchanging my TV, I hardly get a price, because the TV, other than the panel, there is nothing in it, a very small. It's made predominantly a plastic box. So, and also the product that is used for the television are the open cells. They are not good for the environment. So there are government regulations again. There are government regulations. In fact, government has sponsored, and there are a lot of agencies all across the country. We tie up with them, following the government rules, that they come and purchase these products from us, or rather, when they come, we also pay them money, as a matter of fact, to ensure that we don't throw away all these products anywhere, wherever it is possible or something. There is a very strict protocol we have to follow. And there are government certified agencies who pick them up, and then they destroy it or dispose it as per the regulations, as per the rules of the government. For example, even there are certain gases being used in air conditioners and refrigerators. You cannot simply throw away those things anywhere, because they also are not, like, for example, previously the gas of freon used to be used in air conditioners, which used to create a hole in the environment. So more and more that gas is emitted or broken or burst out of the refrigerator, it is to spoil the environment. So there is a way to also do that. So there is already a lot of regulations, and there are agencies who are continuously working. Being a responsible being a responsible retailer in our electronics industry, we have to follow those. We have to work hand in hand with those kind of agencies who does the needful in terms of clearing this e-wastes. That much I can tell you. I think I could able to reply. Thank you.
From my side. Respected dignitaries, among technology, policy, leadership, and consumer behavior, which factor do you think is more decisive for sustainable business transformation?
I think it's a good question which encompasses all the themes, 6 themes that have been stated here. So I would put it being a person to present this theme. Yeah. The question is, all in a simple way, all these things needed to be implemented by the leader only. So he should imagine and he should also have the necessary vision to prepare a roadmap or action plan, whatever you call, and then all these things become inclusive of the very vision that he prepares. I think you have heard. So the strategy related to the so Telangana rising, and in fact there was such a slogan for India, India shining. I think whether there was a roadmap or not, I am not very sure about it, but India was shining there, and we should find out it would shine in 2047. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. Dr. Rajshekhar Reddy. I am a professor of geology now reading about the environmental science. I think this was better. I think I can expect from Dr. Kishore. Here you are saying that without sacrificing for the future generation, and you have to run the business, because generally in environment, what we call is conservation and substitution policies must be adopted. So, but your business, your title says business transformation for sustainable development. Can the conservation and substitution can be the parameter for transformation for sustainable development? Because in many of occasions we conserve it for because the various as because I am basically a geology person. Here, when we say because the minerals are not constant, we place under different items, that is strategic and different, we conserve and we substitute by different things. Can that policy suit your title saying that business transformation for sustainable? That's my question. Thank you.
cheap sheets. Cheap sheets. Cheap. See, simply waited 6 days just in the world and not just in Asia. Received innovatively funding support of 10,000 crores from the BRICS Bank. The BRICS Bank evaluated what are the sustainable practices government of Telangana is adopting, proposed, and is pleased to sanction that at a concessional industry. BRICS Bank has got its own mandate to fund such kind of sustainable projects. Now, the measures what government of Telangana has furnished to BRICS Bank, the NDB, New Development Bank, included mostly the points what you mentioned, that we are conserving the environmental resources by planning an iron bridge which saves the materials and mostly the tension and compression things, and also which could be recycled after whatever period it has to be replaced. So, as you rightly mentioned, sir, yes, there is a bridge between business transformation and customer development. And how perfectly do we construct the bridge and how perfectly do we walk the bridge is a challenge in which all of us should be part of.
Thank you, Shah. Thank you, Professor Rajshekhar Reddy, Professor Viri Sunanda, Dr. Sarita, and my good friend, IAS who are interacting with very interesting questions. I hope that you have got the information that what you are interested in by putting such beautiful questions. After hearing, I'll take much of time, but 1 minute, because we are all waiting for lunch, I know. After hearing from all the panel speakers here, with rich experience, Professor K.V. Rao, who was the former Vice Chancellor, and I think senior most person in terms of age and experience here in this platform today. And I hope, and other panel speakers, right from Anirban Ghosh and Prashant Kumar Das online, and David Mane here from industry, and K.V. Rao, Madam Sindhu. After listening to them, really, I felt very happy and learned many things from their talk, and I hope that my young students and scholars have learned something out of it, so that the true spirit of sustainability will go from this generation to this generation. So because we have almost five generations here, because this is what real sustainability means, what I believe personally. So thank you so much, Professor K.V. Rao garu, Prashant Kumar Das, Madam Sindhu, David Raj, and other ghosts from Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose University, Kolkata. So, and my dear, Kishore from industry, and my dear friends, many scholars, senior teachers, particularly Professor Sudarshan from IMT, and regional director of ICO, Hyderabad is also with us, senior teachers from Usmania University, and my friend and the entrepreneur, Professor N.R.K. Reddy is also here, and thank you so much. And we'll go very short to our lunch and then we assemble as Professor.
So there is also one more person that we have to thank. He is Mr. Prashant Kumar Das, because he has sponsored all the student registrations. All the student registrations are sponsored by Mr. Prashant. If you're there, we are very thankful to you, Mr. Prashant, for sponsoring the student registrations, and we acknowledge your gesture. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now I request Professor Ravi Kumar Totti to brief the talk very briefly and propose formal vote of thanks. Professor Ravi Kumar Totti from KIMS, Principal of Healthcare Management.
Thank you, sir, and thank you all the dignitaries to present your topics. In fact, Dr. Kishore was saying, your task is very tough because you have to listen to everybody and synthesize it and present to the audience. And my job is reduced as Professor Solomon Rabindranath. He was almost, making it simple to all of us to understand. And I have just a couple of minutes to present to you. First one is spoken by Professor Anirban Das, and he was highlighting on don't consume the abundant available resources for your present consumption. It is not for your present consumption. Consume whatever is required for you, and also be mindful and conscious for the future generations. That is highlighting, sir. And Professor Sindhu was talking about the digitalization of the finance, and that reduces the cost. And Mr. David Raju also is professional from healthcare industry. He was talking about the telemedicine, which reduces again the cost. Also, he was telling about, the reach, the millions of the patients reach, it was enormous and impressive. And also, thankful to Professor K.V.K. Rao, the former Vice Chancellor of Nagarjuna University. Sir was talking about the Robbins theory. Again, he is repeating or reiterating that don't consume the resources for yourself. Okay, one impressive thing that I was very much impressed with Sir's talk is, you may have to set the goals, but don't be disappointed when you're not reaching the goal.
you can always alter the deadlines or the goals. So that is where we have to be adaptive. That which means he says adaptive. And also, sir was telling about the human capital. It is very disappointing. It is about just about 4 to 5% only spent on the human capital. It is very saddening that the investment on the human capital is very, very negligible. And the next neglected area is healthcare. That is a cause of concern. And the outcome of this conference should highlight this. And lastly, Dr. Kishore was talking about the short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. True, the profit is the motive of the business, but in the long run, you have to be socially conscious, and you are responsible for every rupee. You're responsible to the society for every rupee of profit you're making. And thank you all, sir, for joining us and making this technical session or the panel session a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Dr. Professor Solomon will announce the lunch where it is provided. Yeah, still question, no?
I think you are not hungry, but everybody else is. Everybody else is hungry. You reserve your question during lunch because you will definitely ask a targeted question to a targeted person. So find that person, ask the question there during lunch. Okay. So there is one very important dignitary among us whom we have to acknowledge, that is our registrar, Dr. Ilmiti Reddy Garu. He is the person who is the financer for this entire national conference. So thank you, Dr. Ilmiti Reddy, for coming over here. Thank you so much. So lunch has been provided for each one of us in the first floor of this building. So please have your lunch and come back here in exactly half an hour would be enough. So come back within half an hour. We will start the technical sessions. And technical sessions are going to be parallel technical sessions. The first